Okay.
Got it. All right, thank you. It is May 19th, 2022. Welcome to the Town of Sherborn Select Board meeting. As been common practice recently, we are going to hold the executive session portion of the meeting first, and then re-enter and go into open session. I did receive a special request for the council for the library to move that item to the end of the meeting. Ran that past Brian, the chair of the library trustees. He was okay with that. I hope it's okay with this board. If no one has any objection, we'll simply move that to the end. Is that okay with everyone? Okay, so do that. And I'm now going to call this meeting to order and ask the town administrator to please read at least the executive session portion of the meeting, please.
Good evening. So item number 1 will be to meet with town council to discuss a complaint letter dated August 16th, 2021 from Jonathan Hudson Walker and Lisa Hudson Walker of Silverwood Farm LLC and potential litigation against the Conservation Commission and the status of consultant's review and report pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 21, parentheses A1(3) and 7, and Suffolk Construction versus DCAM 449 Mass 444, parentheses 2007. Item number 2 is meeting with town council in executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 21, parentheses A3, 6, and 7, and Suffolk Construction versus DCAM 449 Mass 444, parentheses 2007, to discuss 31 Hunting Lane, 41 North Main Street, Igor Lebowski et al. Versus the town of Sherborn, land court number 21, MISC PS 000193, parentheses HPS, and 31 Hunting Lane, LLC versus Sherborn Board of Appeals, Housing Appeals Committee number 2021-05, and 41 North Main Street, LLC versus Sherborn Board of Appeals, Housing Appeals Committee number 2021-06. Item number 3, meeting with town council pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 21, parentheses A3 and 7, and Suffolk Construction versus DCAM 449 Mass 333, parentheses 2007, to obtain legal advice regarding a Conservation Commission complaints. Item number 4, to discuss strategy with respect to threatened potential litigation if the chair so declares that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the litigating position of the select board and the town, and the chair does so declare, to discuss the town library pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 21, parentheses A3 and 7, and Suffolk Construction versus DCAM 449 Mass 444, parentheses 2007. You'll need a second and a roll call vote.
Well, thank you very much, Diane. And I will say just one of those executive session items had more words in it than our entire open session tonight. All right. As chair, I declare that an executive session is warranted for the items just as read by the town administrator. Do I have a second? I'm pretty sure it's a second by Marianne. People can unmute. Okay, all in favor, Marianne?
Aye.
And George?
Aye.
I am as well. All right, if you could please pause the recording. We're now in executive session for the Hudson Walker item. Well, welcome. This is the Town of Sherborn Select Board meeting of April 19th, 2022. We just completed the executive session portion of this meeting, and this is now the open session. One executive session item was actually postponed to the end of this meeting. So when we end the open session portion of this meeting, we are going to go back into executive session, not to return to open meeting, or at least return just simply to close the meeting. We're gonna have no agenda items after the final executive session item. And to clarify, that was executive session item number 4 will be held at the end of this meeting. All right, if there's no further ado, I'm going to call this meeting to order And please ask the town administrator to please read the agenda.
Okay, good evening. So after I read the agenda, the board can vote to amend or approve the agenda. We'll have a portion of public comment, but nobody has reached out to me that they have anything to say tonight. Number one item is the consent agenda, which is the payroll warrant for the interim town administrator. Our next scheduled meetings are June 2nd, June 16th, and June 30th. There's also a one-day liquor license for a school run fundraiser on May 20th at Silverwood Farms. It's being run by Pauline Bounds. Item number 2 is consideration of adding the tax donation onto the residents' tax bill. PM Dels will be here, our town collector. Item 3 is a consideration of 2 proclamations, one for Alexander D. Capellian and Brendan Lewis O'Neill. Item number 4 is the Winter Recovery Assistance Program, and Sean Clean, our DPW director, will speak on that. Number 5 is routine business, which is select board reports and interim town administrative reports. Then the board will go back into executive session for item number 4.
Thank you very much. Do I have any amendments or motions relative to the agenda?
Move to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor, Marianne?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
I'm also aye. Okay, with no public comment, we have agenda number 1, the consent agenda. Any motions or amendments relative to the consent agenda?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor, Marianne?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
I'm also aye. Number 2, consideration of adding tax donation to the residents' tax bill. Pam does. Is Pam? Oh, there she is. How you doing, Pam?
Hi,
everybody.
Do we have to vote on the liquor license? Sorry.
Do it to a
That
separate.
was part of the consent agenda.
All right, the
Yeah.
consent agenda.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Pam.
Before you start, tell John the asparagus were delicious.
I know, we had some tonight too. It was so
Already had it.
good.
I gotta get over there.
Oh, yeah, so yummy. So this is sort of what I talked to you guys about last time. I gave you a sample copy of what it would look like. Just wanting to add that box on our tax bill that if a resident wants to donate to our tax aid fund, that they can do that right on the tax bill. We adopted the section of the law that allows us to collect our tax aid in April of 2000. I reviewed it with the tax aid committee. They're actually the ones that picked out the verbiage that they liked. It'll just increase our exposure because it will go out 4 times instead of just 1. And it eliminates the need for it to be an insert also.
I have one quick question on this. So
Sure.
does it come as a receipt? Because right now, third part, was it non-federal taxes can only be written off up to $10,000, which is almost every house in Sherborn, but charitable donations can be written off above that. Does this come as, do we get some kind of record or receipt that actually we've made a charitable donation so that can be written off of our federal taxes?
Yes. You'll get, everybody that donates gets a receipt from the tax aid committee.
And it indicates donation, it doesn't indicate like taxes. You know what I'm trying to say? Because the tax write-off is itemized. Okay.
Yep, it's separate.
Okay, very good. That's all I have.
I'll move approval.
I second.
Okay, all in favor, Marianne?
Aye.
Wait.
No, we have a, you're right, we have a
Yeah.
comment mid,
Yeah.
yeah, Nancy, please go ahead.
Nancy, you're muted. You can't, there you go.
I was waiting for you to vote first, and I just wanted to recognize that this is Pam's first elected term as collector, and that she got great support from the town. If you all looked at the ballot, you saw that she got tremendous support, and I always considered that my report card. So I'd say that Pam has got an A+.
Yes, thank you, Pam.
373 votes.
Pam's doing a
number one
great
in the
job.
town. Yep, absolutely. All right, so we have a motion and a second, and we have Marion who's already voted yes on this. George, how do you vote?
Aye.
And I am I as well. And congratulations, Pam, on the highest vote count of the town.
You were right behind me.
Behind you, actually, but yes. But who's counting?
Nancy.
Nancy.
All right, and thanks again, Nancy. Thanks again, Pam. Very good idea, this. Okay, moving on. Consideration of proclamations for Alexander Capellian and Brendan Lewis O'Neill.
It's just to correct you, it's Capillion.
Capellian.
Billion, okay.
Yes. I'll move approval of these proclamations. Do you want to read them, Eric, or?
Sure. Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Sherborn, proclamation. Whereas Brendan Lewis O'Neill has earned the rank of Eagle Scout, and whereas his accomplishment symbolizes the creative examples of service, strong leadership, and organizational skills which have made a difference in our community, and whereas Brendan has demonstrated his ability to set a goal and exhibited a personal desire and tenacity to follow through successfully. We, the Select Board of the Town of Sherborn, on behalf of all citizens, extend their congratulations and best wishes on this occasion of the Eagle Scouts Award ceremony. In witness thereof, we have caused the seal of this town to be affixed to the proclamation of this 19th day of May in the year 2022, and it's all signed.
You know, we usually have a couple of words about what was done for the Eagle Scout proclamation, but I don't see anyone here.
I don't know. The only one I know, Alex Capillion, very well, because he actually used to be my neighbor. And I think he was, I don't know, Diane, correct me if I'm wrong if you know about this, but he was doing a project, he wanted to do a project about cleaning the trail around the pond by the playground. I don't know whether that was what his project ended up being, but that was what his plan was.
I don't know. I'll have to speak to Brenda, who gave me the proclamations for these two.
Right.
Boy,
But I bet
so
you
I'll
Jeff
check
Jeff
with
probably
her.
knows as well.
He
Yeah.
would know, right?
Jeff would
I
definitely
do
be
know
one.
that that is the project he did, and he completed it.
Okay.
Oh, good.
And
Yeah, Alex is a great kid. Like I said, I've known him since he was a little kid. He was my neighbor for a number of years, and I don't know what Brendan O'Neill's project was, but that I did know Alex was working on the pond around the playground.
Okay,
Eric, could I just bring up one thing before we move on past?
I'm gonna read, I
consent
want to read
agenda?
Alex's
Oh,
Capillion.
okay.
Well, yeah.
All right.
Can we read that? Okay. Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Sherborn, a proclamation. Whereas Alexander Capillion has earned the rank of Eagle Scout, and whereas his accomplishment symbolizes his creative examples of service, strong leadership, and organizational skills which have made a difference in our community, and whereas Alexander has demonstrated his ability to set a goal and exhibited a personal desire and tenacity to follow through successfully. Now and therefore, we, the Select Board of the Town of Sherborn, on behalf of all citizens, extend their congratulations and best wishes on this occasion of the Eagle Scouts Award ceremony. In witness thereof, we have caused the seal of this town to be affixed to this proclamation on the 19th day of May in the year 2022, and it is signed by the full board. Yeah, go ahead, Diane.
I'd like to go back to the select board meeting schedule, if that's okay with you.
Yes, you're right. Thank you. I forgot
So
exactly what you're
yeah,
talking about.
the advisory committee was supposed to hear the ARPA presentation last night, but they couldn't get a quorum, so we couldn't hold the meeting, and they would like to meet before the select board meet. And I was going to have it on the agenda for June 2nd. But then we realized that, George, you wouldn't be there because you are at graduation. And we also have to do the reorg of the board, and we didn't have that tonight because Jeff and Paul are not here. So I did reach out to Paul, and he's not available on Wednesday, but I don't know, George, were you planning on coming to the select board meeting after graduation? Were you going to hop on?
That's my plan. I usually do. I mean, I have in the past, but I am also available if we needed to move it. We could do a meeting on June 9th, if like the following Thursday, if.
When is advisory discussing the ARPA proposals? Because
They haven't decided on another date yet.
Well, let's wait and hear from them before we make a decision.
I could put the ARPA on to the 16th, but we still have to do the reorg of the select board too. So I could move that to the 16th when we have a full board too.
Both
Well,
items.
you could do the reorg without me. I mean, I don't.
So George's chair on the reorg.
Yeah, never mind. No, don't do it without me. Don't do it without me.
I mean, the 9th, I think the 9th is a good option. I'm guessing I tried to attend this advisory meeting, and like I said, the issues with quorum. They were initially just, Steve said he's going to reach out to a few people. They're initially thinking June 1st. We could actually plan on June 1st unless we hear otherwise, maybe. Either way, maybe the 9th makes sense if you want to have an extra meeting, or it depends how soon you want to have it.
Depending on the agenda for June, I mean, maybe the 9th could combine the 2nd and 16th. We could have one big meeting on the 9th.
Yeah.
That busy.
Yeah.
And then meet again on the 30th.
I have something in my
Yeah.
calendar. It says Tri-Valley presentation. Is that a presentation about the Tri-Valley School?
I thought we already had that.
Yeah, it's before us. I think this might be something that Tri-Valley themselves is presenting what the new school is. I put in my calendar because I'm interested in seeing what that looks like.
The
But
only Thursday I'm not available in June is the 23rd, because I'm actually traveling that day, but.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'll do a query of the board to see with Paul and Jeff if they're available on the 9th.
please.
Okay,
Maybe we could do the 9th and 30th for a meeting.
okay. I can do that.
Will that give us enough time to deal with the ARPA proposals as well as the reorganization of the board? I guess the reorganization of the board will be quick,
Yeah, that
Yes.
won't take long.
but the
Yes, ma'am.
ARPA proposals will not be quick.
No, that's gonna be a long,
So, but I went to advisory too, hoping that they would meet the last two meetings, because I'd like to hear what advisory says about the ARPA proposals before we make it a final decision. So I'd rather not do it the night after. So the 9th would be better
Right.
than the
the
2nd.
9th's better, because if they do it the 1st, we have a week to digest.
Yeah,
And you know what? There's a chance it might take advising more than one night. It might be that hot of a thing. And so who knows, maybe we don't even talk about the 9th. I don't know. Anyways,
right,
just a thought.
yeah.
Just a thought, if it takes more than and they did have a dedicated meeting for it, so it should be done. Hopefully be vetted, but it depends how differing ideas and stuff like that. All right,
So, yeah, okay.
so let's cancel the 2nd. Plan on the 9th, especially if we have a light agendas like we did today. Diane, to the best of your knowledge, has anyone brought anything that might be kind of a hot item up to you that might be we need to address this next month?
There might be a borrowing coming forward with Heidi, so I'll check with her.
Right. And the only other thing we have is before the end of the month, we'll have appointments for the commission, for the different
Exactly, we can do that on the 30th.
committees.
Okay,
Okay,
very good.
Okay.
Thank you for reminding Diane. I know we talked about that briefly, and it just escaped me about the conflict with the 2nd. Okay. So we finished it.
Frank Hawk Frank, can you actually unmute and just, I don't understand your chat about the liquor license.
It was going to be a request for a liquor license for the SCCF for their annual meeting. We were actually a little surprised that it wasn't on the agenda for this meeting. And it's for our annual meeting, which is on June the 6th. And we're hoping that in your meeting before June the 6th, that you would vote on that.
Frank,
I
we've
think
sometimes
there's
approved some of those, and like outside the meeting, and then approve them at the meet, like kind of approve them after the fact. So I think you'll be okay.
All right, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay. So we have coverage for that. Should we actually take a vote on that now? It's not on the agenda, probably not. I'm just thinking
I don't
this-
think we need to.
Okay.
I would just leave it as it is, and then if we change the meetings, we'll go from there.
Okay, good enough. All right. So all being said, agenda item number 4.
Wait, we didn't actually vote on the proclamations.
Okay,
I made a motion to approve those proclamations, so.
thank you. Thank you.
I second.
Okay, all in favor, Marianne, George?
Aye.
I'm also aye. Okay, so moving on now agenda item number 4, Winter Recovery Assistance Program. Sean Colleen, DPW Director. Do you want to start, Sean? I can start if you want.
But my apologies. I have the Conservation Commission in my left ear and you guys in my right.
Shocking.
Unfortunately, I'm deaf
Same
and both.
time.
Well, I'll tell you, we just rearranged our schedule, so it can be no conflict for the next 4 weeks.
Yeah,
Excellent. We'll see how that goes.
yeah, we'll see. They probably will find a way.
So real brief, I didn't put much together because we've already discussed the road work we're planning to do this summer. And since we last spoke, for those that don't know, they passed and the governor funded what they call this short form is the WRAP, which is Winter Recovery Assistance Program, which was basically a way for the state to funnel an extra 50% for our, it's a supplement on top of our Chapter 90, basically. What I've decided to do at the moment is assign that money towards the project we already decided to do, which was the Woodland and West Goulding. As you guys remember, that's a pretty significant project. Most of that was going to be funded with the money that was approved at town meeting. So the quickest and easiest way to assign that money is put it towards that project. It's $186,000 towards about a $600,000 project. And my intent, which I'll bring back before we actually finalize the project, is to probably extend the limit of that project and continue to head down Woodland Street. Originally, we were basically stopping the project at the intersection of Woodland and West Goulding, which was really going to give people a headache because there's some pretty bad road just past that. It is a little different. It doesn't need a full rebuild, so we can get some more distance out of it by cold planing it and putting a new top surface. So that's my intent to finalize it. I really don't need a vote, unless you want to support that. But it's basically right now we're just going to stay with the project we had. We're going to assign the money from the winter recovery assistance to the project we were already going to do, and kind of hang on to the borrowed money that we have.
That makes sense, Sean, and I'm glad to hear that you're extending Woodland, because I have driven that stretch a few times in the last few days, and I thought, wait a second, why are they stopping Woodland at Goulding? Because Woodland's terrible all the way out to 16. So
It is, and currently we can't make it all the way to 16, but we can probably, by just adding
get to
that
Greenwood,
money,
or
we can make it to Apple. We think,
okay,
at least by just adding that money on top of
but
what we were going to
that's
do.
the worst section anyway. I mean, that
It definitely is.
Yeah, I definitely like the idea. My only question logistically, so is it just like Chapter 90? Because it's a reimbursement program. In Chapter 90, they call it reimbursement. It's reimbursement against like whatever GAN or BAN or whatever we pull on that. But yet other reimbursement programs I've seen, you actually have to have an appropriation and reimburse against that, which means it doesn't add on top of the appropriation, if that makes any sense.
No, well, the way they wrote it, Eric, and in 3 different emails, they contradicted themselves 3 times when they first did it. I think it came out in kind of a rush. Because in one email, but then the link, they basically said you don't need prior approval. No one would, in their right mind in my business would go without prior approval. But it is going to go through the same representative at MassDOT. And it's basically the same mechanism, the reimbursement. So we self-fund it, and the check comes within a few months. But again, I'm 100% confident that this project is approvable, and we will have that approved beforehand.
Yeah. I have no doubt this project would apply. In fact, it frankly is, if you look at it, it clearly is a result of the freeze thawing of the winter time. There's no question about that this project would be very, very applicable to it. And just strictly wondering, like I said, is like the SRF program on the water and sewer, you have to have an appropriation of like $200,000. And then they reimburse on the $200,000 with a combination of loan and grants or whatever else. But it means you can't add it on top of it. You don't get $400,000. You know what I mean? So that's the only reason I was wondering about this.
Yeah, they made no mention of that, Eric. I understand what you're saying. They made no mention of that. I think because the intent from the state was not to limit anything like that. It was to actually flush the cash into the system, to push people to do a little bit more work, I think.
Good. Yeah, and I think it's also kind of a workaround where some people have been crying for more Chapter 90. Like I forgot what they do on, I think 200 million each year statewide, and Baker did 300 million one year, but they had to divert the money to the MBTA, or he had the next year, so he never got back to 300 million. And certain legislatures are pushing back on the initial bump. So I think this is kind of a way around it. So I think it's great, and I like the idea of putting in Woodland. And do you need a vote from us or anything?
I don't think I do. I think I'll bring a final, the final scope to you. You supported it prior, so I'm confident that I'm gonna keep working on the project. And I think I'll bring the final scope to you, so you can just agree on where we're gonna start and stop.
Any questions from the
That's
board?
good. Nope.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Excellent. Look forward to it. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
Okay, under routine business, I have a select board report. I don't know if anyone else has a select board report. Okay, just my select board report, and it's not a written agenda item. It came in relatively recently, so I'm just going to make a report and put it out there as factual information. I'm sure we're going to have at least one agenda item, if not more. Is that we recently received a 40B application that went to the state and copied to the Board of Selectmen for a project at 55 Farm Road. There's a site walk on June 14th, and boards are invited to that site walk. And comments are due on June 20th, and they're basically required comments from the various Sherborn boards and committees. We consolidated through this board and sent to the state. And this has been distributed already to the various boards and committees. And so just information that's out there right now. Now, if there's any comments on that, but like I said, I don't want to limit the discussion given that's not a dedicated agenda item.
We should have it on our next agenda to actually discuss how we should respond to it.
Okay, sounds like a good idea.
I have one just quick thing that I think Diane has been working on the different appointments that we have to make in June. And I think we need to publish that. I'm going to reach out to Vicki Rellis, who helped us last year with posting on Nextdoor, to say, here are the openings on the different boards, so we can kind of try to drum up interest for the different appointments that we have to make, because we would love to have an opportunity to appoint new people to boards or reappoint good people to boards. So we have a lot of appointments coming up in June. So hopefully we can get that publicized as much as possible.
Is that currently on the town website?
Yes, yes, it is. And we have done some publishing of it already, George. I had a list put in the paper, and I believe Vicki ran the list. And just the other day, I was thinking I should ask her to put it in again too.
Yeah, have her put it on Nextdoor again. That would be great.
Okay,
That's right. I mean, we can't advertise it enough. Because
Exactly.
Right.
we really need to cast a wider net.
okay.
All right. How about town administrator report? Got anything to say, Diane?
No, I don't, not tonight.
Okay. Very good. All right. Any further ado, entertain a motion to leave the open session. As chair, I declare an executive session warranted for the agenda item as previously read by the town administrator. Do I have a second?
Second,
Okay, all in favor, Marianne,
aye.
George,
Aye.
and I as well. Okay, very good. If you can stop the recording.